It's just like, okay, why didn't anybody have him, locked up? Like, why didn't they keep him locked up? Why is he out being free? With this record, it's ridiculous.
America, that woman the neighbor is grieving for spent her entire career making sure that the Department of Homeland Security ran the right way. She was an auditor inside a watchdog office of the same department that was supposed to protect every American from exactly this kind of threat. She was shot and stabbed to death on a Monday morning dog walk by a man whose criminal record should have, under federal law, made it legally impossible for him to ever become a United States citizen. Biden's administration approved his paperwork in 2022 anyway. NBC looked at that and gave it 0 seconds. CBS did the same. But here's the part that nobody is saying out loud. The same department Lauren Bullis spent her career auditing from inside is the same department whose vetting process let this man walk through. She's the person checking for the receipts. She never got to check this one.
The Biden administration knew this, the law enforcement knew this, and they decided not to just deport him, but they allowed him to become a citizen. There was a direct pattern to it, and it led to the death of 3 innocent individuals.
What is up, guys? Tyson DeLaCruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. The night started just after midnight in DeKalb County. A 31-year-old woman named Prianna Weathers was shot and killed outside of a Checkers restaurant on Wesley Chapel Road. She was the first victim. A bell was already in motion before a single 911 call was ever even made. He got back to the car, drove to his new location. Now, watch what 11 Alive mapped out what this man did between midnight and the morning.
This is the first one from 12:50 this morning. Police telling us this was at a Checkers location on Wesley Chapel Road when they say Adon Abel actually pulled out a gun and shot and killed a woman there. This was in the jurisdiction of DeKalb County Police. Then fast forward to 2 o'clock in the morning. This is over in the Cherokee Plaza outside the Kroger that was there. Police say that he was an unhoused man. That was the victim in this case. Shot multiple times while he was asleep outside on the sidewalk. He is currently in critical condition. He is, at this point, the only victim that has survived. This one was a case from Brookhaven. Now, the next one was back to DeKalb County Police. This was 6:30 in the morning over on Battle Forest Drive. A woman was walking her dog when she was shot and stabbed in that residential community right there on the scene. Again, police telling us that he rented a car. This was a silver Volkswagen Jetta. They say he was seen leaving that first crime scene.
He rented a car before any of this started. You don't secure transportation, drive between 3 crime scenes across 2 police jurisdictions, and call it random chaos. It is deliberate movement here. His second stop, a 49-year-old homeless man sleeping on a sidewalk outside of a Brookhaven Kroger at 2 in the morning. Not somebody looking for conflict or anything like that. A person who was asleep. The Brookhaven police chief, you guys, didn't soften what happened here.
What we know now is that this individual was asleep in the area of the business and was shot multiple times from the suspect from his vehicle as he pulled into the shopping center in front of the closed business. This shopping center did not have any businesses that were open at this time of the late night, early morning hours. Again, this was just before 2 a.m. Our officers immediately began rendering aid to the 49-year-old male victim. Their quick response in rendering this aid is what has provided this victim an opportunity to hopefully survive the injuries that he sustained. What we know is that he is still in very critical condition at Grady Hospital, and our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family as he fights to recover from this incident that occurred.
Shot multiple times, you guys, from a car while sleeping in a dark parking lot at 2 in the morning. This is not an altercation. This was a man who was choosing targets because somebody happened to be there, I guess. 4 hours and 50 minutes after Prianna Weathers was murdered, Lauren Bullis walked out of her front door on Battle Forest Drive to take her dog for a walk. She did that every single morning. Her neighbors knew her face and knew what her dog looked like, and the DeKalb County police chief described what officers found.
Officers located another adult female who had suffered not only gunshot wounds but stab wounds as well. She was pronounced deceased on scene.
Shot 6 times, stabbed. Witnesses saw Abel standing over her body in the middle of the street before he got back in that rented Volkswagen Jetta and drove away from the neighborhood. What caught him here wasn't a federal alert, not a government database, a flock camera, one of those license plate readers owned by a private homeowners association in Brookhaven, photographed the Volkswagen Jetta leaving the first crime scene. The one image was shared between 2 police departments and led to a traffic stop near the Alabama border.
A license plate reader was key in their investigation and allowed them to put all these clues together. The vehicle information between all 3 of these crime scenes was pivotal, and Ada Abel was taken into custody in Troup County.
A neighborhood HOA camera accomplished in hours what a federal government citizenship vetting process had years to do but never did. Before this becomes a political story that it absolutely is, you need to know who Lauren Bullis was as a person. She was 40 years old. She ran marathons. The Atlanta Track Club photographed her crossing the finish line in the 2026 Publix Atlanta Marathon. Just weeks before she was killed, she loved traveling. She left behind a husband and a stepdaughter. A fellow DHS auditor who met her at a work conference the year before said you couldn't meet her and not be her friend. Her neighbor, Masika McCormick, saw her walk by that corner every single morning. The way that the neighbor McCormick describes it tells you everything you need to know about what type of person Lauren was.
I said if she can do it to get out here with her dog every single morning, be as dedicated, I can get off my butt and get out there and start walking and get more exercise for myself.
The most normal routine imaginable. Up early, walk down the same street, obviously walked her dog, and the same system that was supposed to screen out dangerous people put the danger directly in front of her path. Now here's the part of the story, you guys, that should make every American sit back and just kind of think for a second. Lauren's job title at DHS was auditor in the Office of Audits and a team leader in the Office of Innovation inside the Office of Inspector General. The Inspector General office is the watchdog. It's the team inside the department that investigates whether the department is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. If a government program is failing, they find it. If a system has a gap in it, they document it. That's what Lauren's work was every single day. Atlanta News First confirmed what DHS said publicly and put it directly next to what Abel's file showed.
On Wednesday, the Department of Homeland Security confirmed that Bullis worked for them as an auditor and a team leader. DHS says her alleged killer, 26-year-old Alukatan Adan Abel, was born in the United Kingdom and naturalized in 2022. Records reveal he has a criminal history, including convictions on sexual battery, vandalism, and assault, battery, and obstruction of a police officer.
The department she spent her entire career protecting had to write one press release that contained both of their names. The woman who protected DHS's integrity and the man whose files DHS vetting process failed to stop in the same document. There is a federal law, 8 United States Code, section 1427. It says you cannot become a naturalized American citizen unless you can prove good moral character for 5 years before you apply. That's not optional. That is a legal requirement. And that law specifically names the kinds of crimes that disqualify you as an applicant. Actual battery disqualifies you. Assault with a deadly weapon disqualifies you. Every single one of those charges was on this man's file in 2022. The Biden administration's citizenship approved. And then, you guys, it got worse after naturalization. In 2022, Abel picked up a brand new conviction in San Diego. Assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer. That is a felon on a naturalized citizen. Federal law allows denaturalization proceedings when that happens. Nobody started them. Records from Savannah, Georgia show that he had been arrested before for groping multiple women, sentenced to jail and probation, ordered to undergo psychiatric evaluation, and banned from the city of Savannah for 4 years. Banned from a city, required psych evaluations. Then a California felony, still a citizen, because his record just kept growing with nobody doing anything about it.
His crime every April had increased over several years.
Abel's criminal record includes prior convictions for sexual battery, battery against an officer, and assault with a deadly weapon.
Every April, that means every year, somebody looked at a new entry in that file and made the same call. Nothing. Right up until the morning of April 13, 2026, when the pattern stopped being a paperwork problem and became 3 people who'd never be coming home again. The man now running DHS is on record about the standards he holds about this department.
What our goal is every single day, Joe, is to protect the homeland. I don't care if you live in California. I don't care if you live in Florida. I don't care if you live in New York or in Oklahoma. We look at all the states the same, not in color based on how you vote. It's protect the homeland. And what they are trying to do here, Joe, is defund the Department of Homeland. Now, that's like defunding the Department of War. Department of War takes care of everything off our shores. Department of Homeland takes care of our backyard, and it makes no sense to me. As far as changing going forward, Joe, we have a different approach. I think every leader in my businesses that we ran with my wife for all those years, every time you put a new manager or a new supervisor in an apartment, it changed because they have a different leadership style. We do have a different leadership style. We're still enforcing immigration laws. We're still deporting illegals that shouldn't be here. We're still going after the worst of the worst. But we're doing it in a more quiet way because my goal in 6 months is to not have DHS on the lead story every day. We want to make sure people understand we're here working for the people, not against you.
Lauren was one of those people. She worked inside that department. The gap between what Mullen is saying right now and what the vetting process looked like in 2022 is the exact gap her life fell into. Pay close attention to this part, you guys, because the media silence is not separate from the policy failure. It is what keeps the policy failure alive here. The Media Research Center tracked every second of the NBC Evening News and CBS Evening News coverage for 48 hours after April 13th. 0 seconds on NBC, 0 seconds on CBS. ABC World News Tonight ran one brief mention on April 15th. Our good friend Anchor Dave noted the suspect was a UK native granted U.S. citizenship in 2022. Obviously, he didn't say which administration approved it. Then he moved on to the next story fairly quickly. Meanwhile, you guys, the same week, CBS ran a segment on a noise complaint. NBC ran a story about pilots making animal noises in the radio channel. Pilots doing cow impressions got airtime. A DHS employee was murdered by a man whose citizenship paperwork violated federal law, got 20 freaking seconds from an anchor who left out the most important word in that entire story. The word was Biden. This is not a situation where busy newsrooms missed local time. These are organizations with full investigative teams, satellite trucks, a lot bigger team than this one, and decades of experience covering immigration stories whenever those stories point the direction that they want. That's the key there. When a story points at the naturalization decisions of a specific administration, an administration whose former president these same networks spent years defending, the calculation is clean. Don't run it. Don't run it. Don't say nothing. Don't say the name. Just let it disappear into the night. Local Atlanta stations with a fraction of the resources named all 3 victims and covered all 3 crime scenes. Watch, you guys, how a brief local report managed what 30 million nightly viewers never got.
Lauren Bullis was shot and killed while walking her dog. She was a Department of Homeland Security employee. DHS says, quote, "These acts of pure evil have devastated our department, and my prayers are with the families of the victim," end quote. Tonight, DeKalb investigators are still looking for possible connections between the suspect and the victims.
Local news in Atlanta with local resources covering all 3 of them. National networks, 100 times the reach. None of them, not a single one. That's a decision. That's not a capacity issue. That is an absolute decision. Prianna Weathers was 31 years old. She was shot 14 times outside of a checkered restaurant. Her name was officially confirmed by DeKalb County medical examiners on April 15th. NBC has not said her name. CBS has not said her name. She was the first victim 6 hours before Lauren Bullis. And both networks covered them identically, which is to say, not at all. 2 things changed, you guys, after President Trump took office. Both of them are directly connected to the kind of failures that produce this Olaleukatan Odan Abel's citizenship approval. In November 2025, USCIS restored the practice of neighborhood investigations on citizenship applications, a review process that checks a person's residency, it checks their character and their loyalty before they're approved. The practice had been dropped for years. It was gone, you guys, the entire time that Abel's file was being processed. A month later, December 2025, USCIS opened a brand new vetting center built specifically to screen out criminals and national security threats from naturalization applications. The center uses law enforcement database and intelligence partnerships to catch the kind of escalating criminal patterns that Abel's files showed all this time. Both safeguards exist. Neither of them existed when his paperwork was being approved. And the interagency that finally caught him on the road to Alabama is the exact kind of coordination that should have stopped him at a desk in the USCIS office 4 years earlier.
This case highlights the importance of strong interagency partnerships and real-time information sharing that we were able to do today. These make this incident critical in quickly identifying and apprehending this dangerous suspect. While the suspect is in custody, this remains an active and ongoing investigation. Our detectives are still going through evidence and still processing everything that we have so far. We're continuing to work to fully understand the circumstances and the motive that led to these crimes. Our thoughts are with the victims and their families during this difficult time. And we again want to reassure the community that there's no ongoing threat related to this suspect as he is in custody, and we remain committed to the safety of our community. Thank you.
The chief is praising the cooperation that finally worked. The same cooperation applied at the USCIS desk instead of a highway is what should have stopped this before a single person was ever harmed. America, the cleanest sentence in this entire story is the one that nobody in national media has put together. Lauren Bullis worked in the DHS Office of Inspector General, the office whose entire purpose is finding failures inside a system before those failures hurt people. She was the auditor. She checked the work. The citizenship vetting process failed. The denaturalization review that federal law allows after a felony conviction, it never happened. And the woman whose career was built around catching exactly these kind of institutional breakdowns had no idea that the biggest one was walking towards her on a Monday morning. NBC and CBS knew all of this. They chose silence. When a network with 30 million nightly viewers go quiet on a story like this, the people whose decisions created the failure never have to answer it. That's not a media problem in isolation. That is how the same policies get approved again. Lauren Bullis deserved better from a system that she served. She deserved better from the press that buried her. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.